Hi guys, I'm here with another video. Mateo's here. I'm here with Angie this time only. It's been 2 weeks since I last uploaded my previous video. Um, that is titled back on YouTube. If you guys haven't seen it, it's already uploaded. In today's video, we're gonna talk about how we met. It's kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It's very well. I mean, it's normal. But it has like yeah. So we met how long ago?
Damn, it's been a while.
Back in 2019.
Was it?
Yeah, because it was after I had graduated and I moved out to California later on that year. Because it was 2019 because I moved out there in the beginning of the new year. I moved out in Cali in 2019 in February. Right after a few months after I had graduated from high school. Yeah.
Mhm.
So since 2019 we have known each other. It was kind of like an off and on thing though.
Yeah, because when we met, we just we met as like workers, co-workers, because
So basically, I moved out to California and I started working with one of my aunts. She worked at a warehouse and they produce plastic, like, just like plastic that you see every day. Like you use every day, right?
like car parts
So,
or like.
I started working there first, and then like a few months later, she went in. And then it's funny because I went up to her and she was looking at me like, what the heck is this person doing here? You know?
Well, I was new. I was just like, I just had went in, applied in that, like I said, in that warehouse, and I just started working. So I was like, I'm a single mom, so I was just like, I was doing a daily life kind of how every single mom's out there do.
And I'm not gonna lie, when I first started talking with her, I wouldn't remember her name. I'll be, hey you, or I would tell my aunt, I don't know if she would remember me telling her, but I would tell my aunt, I'm like, Dia, what's that girl's that just started working? What's her name? Because I couldn't, because when I talk with people, they like will probably bring up their name, and I'll probably listen to it that one time, but then afterwards I'll forget.
And my name is not like, it's very, I would kind of want to say common. My full name is Angelina. Everybody just calls me Angelica or Angeline or Angeline or Angie for short. To me, it doesn't really matter, but at a point it does kind of get annoying. There's a lot of like, okay, it's just a name, right? But yes, my full name is Angelina, but everybody calls me Angie, so.
Yeah, but anyways, I will go up to her just to make talk, like conversation, and I swear that every time she will look at me, she will give me that look like, get out of here, leave me alone kind of look. Because then out of nowhere, I think it was like a few months, out of nowhere, I didn't see her because I was working first shift. It was from like 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And out of nowhere, I see her coming in I walk in, and she's doing third shift. So, because I'm like, did she leave? Or, because I didn't see her for a few days. So I'm like, I guess she didn't like it, right? So then, after I had finally seen her after how many days? I think like 4 days went by. When I was going into work, and then I see her walking around, I'm like, you switched to graveyard shift?
Yeah, I switched it to day shift to night. Yeah, it's night shift.
Why? Did you do it again?
Oh, because like I said, I was single mom. I didn't have no help from any family members or anything like that. I was going through a rough time, and so like I said, I was single. I didn't have no friends. I didn't have no one to help me out. So I had to go to night shift because I had to take my son to school, pick him up. You know those single mothers out there. That's why I appreciate you all, because it is hard. You know, I mean, it really is. So I was, like I said, I was going through a tough time, and hey man, you just gotta do what you gotta do. Until I met this fruit bar here.
Hey. So basically we met at the job, right? And then she has switched to night shift. And then I don't even remember how I got her number. Half of the time when I meet people, I don't remember their names or how I got their number. But anyways, so she went to night shift, and then like the only times I would talk to her, see her, is like when I'm walking into work and she was going out, pretty much, because she normally wouldn't reply to my messages because she most likely would be sleeping, right? So then technically, after that, I had went to visit her where she was living. She was renting a room in
Rancho Cucamonga.
And I don't know, I forgot why we had set up that night. I don't know. We were just talking that night, right? And then her son was there, and then your mom was there too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, her mom was there. And then I just walk in there, right? And I'm like, okay. So then we were just talking and getting to know each other kind of a bit more, right? And then I had left, and I think after that I only saw her like a few more days at the job, and then she left the job. So I really didn't talk to her as much after, because then after I came back to Colorado for like a year, I think, yeah, I'm not mistaken, a year. And I think I only talked to her one time when I was out here, just to check up, just to see how she was doing, right? So then the way we started was like a kind of I wouldn't say on and off. I would be like every once in the blue moon we would message each other to see how we were doing.
How we're doing, yeah.
Right? And then it was like what? How many? Like 3, 4. Well, when did I start talking to you again?
2020. It was in
like 3 years ago. I started talking to her. It was back in 2022. Like around beginning of June of 2022. I have no idea. Until this day, I always tell myself, guys, that I don't know what I was doing. I think I was laying in my bed or something, or like, I don't know. Until this day, I have no idea. But it was a few years that we had talked, right? But for some reason, my head was telling me to text her to see how she was doing, right? And I thought she wasn't gonna reply, because the few times I did message her, like before, she wouldn't reply until like 2 weeks later. Like, okay, what's the whole point now, right? So then I had text her. I can't remember exactly the message, like the full message, but I think I had said, hey, how you been? What's new? Or something like that, right? Like, people message after a while, you know, you're trying to like check, just see how they're doing, right? Yeah. And then this one over here came out and told me that she wasn't even gonna reply to my message. She literally was just gonna ignore it.
I was just working. I was working graveyards, and I was just like, all I wanted to do is just like literally, it was just me and my son against the world. That's how I saw it. That's what I thought about it. So it was just like, I did see his message. It's just like I didn't respond right away. I was just like,
sometimes I felt like, I think it was one time where I had sent her something. She didn't reply back to me until a month later.
Oh yeah, huh? I did, huh?
So I'm like, I had told you how you were a month ago. You're replying now, And then I literally told her, well, how are you doing now? Because, a whole month went by, you know? But it's...
I could have gone longer, but I just decided not to because I didn't want to be that mean, you know?
But until this day, I can't put the piece together of why I ended up texting her that day. It was...
Yeah, me neither.
I have no idea why I had sent her a message just to see how she was doing, right? Because we there was like a 3-year gap or something that we didn't talk at all.
No, wasn't it a year or 2 years a gap?
No.
Oh no, I think it was
2019 when I met
yeah.
you.
It was 3 years.
I came back here around COVID time, which was the worst time because, yeah, it was just
worse.
Yeah, because when I was out here for the whole year, I was getting unemployment.
Oh.
Because since a lot of the jobs were not hiring people because of the whole virus and stuff, I literally I was doing unemployment for a whole year.
Almost. Oh yeah, that whole year was.
That's why
really
I had came back because my mom and dad had asked me if I can come back to help them with my little sisters because they were young. They were younger. Now they're like older and taller than me.
Same with mine.
Even though they're the youngest, right? They're the youngest, but they don't look like they're the youngest. But yeah, I had text her, and then we were texting. Right after that, we were texting. I will text after that. At first, I wouldn't text her every day, right? But then after, I did.
That's when we started texting.
I was texting her
and talking,
and we were talking, and I was like, just seeing how she was doing, what she's been up to, like what's new, because I was working. When I had went back out there, I was working at a few other places I had found, and then after I went back working with my aunt for like almost a year. And then when I was texting her, I was working at a warehouse that was behind the warehouse I worked with my aunt. It was a anime and video game warehouse where it was called what was it called? Inex, I think it was called. They have like a website and you can go and you can buy things. So I was working at that place when I started talking to her again. And then it was one day, I forgot when it was, I had invited her out. I had asked her if she wanted to like hang out so we can catch up kind of thing, right? And I'm going to tell you guys right now. A part of me regrets it and another part doesn't. So, I'm not going to lie. I am transgender, okay? That's another that I'm gonna tell you guys that story of mine on a different video. But I am transgender from female to male, right? And at that time, it's kind of hard to like find people to go out with because you don't know if they would like what kind of people, I it's hard to tell when someone would try and give it a chance to date a transgender person. Am I making myself sense?
Yes.
Right? So it's kind of hard for me to find someone that was willing to date me for who I am and like, but I am transgender. So when I started did I tell you that before we went out or I told you when we weren't out?
No, you told me before.
Okay, so I guess I told her before. I didn't know. So,
well, I could tell by just the appearance, as you can see. He's over here telling me, as you can see. Just kidding.
So I had texted her asking her when her days were off. And at that time, it was, Wednesdays and Thursdays?
I don't remember, honestly.
I think it was Wednesdays and Thursdays because she was working at a warehouse with furniture and whatever, right?
Oh, okay, now I remember. Yes.
So I would work during the week. My schedule was Monday through Friday.
Oh yeah, I do remember. Yeah, it was at that time. It was Wednesdays.
So
and
when
Thursdays.
she had her days off, it was during the week, but I was working. But where I was working, depending on the season, because that place wouldn't get extremely busy until the holidays, right? So I think it was right before the holidays hit when I had asked her if she wanted to go out to go out and eat and like catch up, right? And I'm not gonna lie, until this day, I even tell her almost all the time, I never thought of seeing her more than a friend, right? Never.
Me neither.
I never, like, in the beginning, I didn't have, like, feelings for her the way I do now, obviously. We've been together 2 years already, going to 3.
And I know all of you probably thinking like, oh, they're not gonna last. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Okay.
But but I don't know. I went out with her. I took her out to one of my favorite restaurants, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
Right, that was the place that I took her because I'm like I didn't know where else to take her. Right.
Okay. The crazy part about this is that he got me hooked on that, but then guess what? I got you hooked on. Well, what is it that I got you hooked on? That you've never had before, and all of a sudden now you want. Because they opened a restaurant over here in Colorado. What is it?
She got me into Wiener Schnitzel. I don't know if I'm saying it right, or if you guys have one of these restaurants where you live at. But I never thought of trying it because it just sounded like, I don't know, right? So they opened one out here, not far from where we live, and because of her, that's pretty much all I want now. You know, like if they say like, "Oh, where you want to eat?" The first thing I say, if it's not affordable at the time for Buffalo, we know Snitchers. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but I don't care. At least I'm trying. But anyways, we're getting off track. So I took her out. I'm not gonna lie. When I had asked her for her address, I did not realize how close she lived from where I was, because I was staying with my uncle and his girlfriend at a apartment, right? And she was literally like 10 minutes away from where I was.
Like 10, 15, huh?
So then when I went to pick her up, I had texted her that I was outside, right? And I'm like, I don't remember how she looked like. How am I gonna know if the person that got in my car is the right person, right? So when I saw her walking, right, because she had texted me that she was heading out, right? So when I saw her walking, I'm like, because it's been so long, it was so long, so I didn't remember how she looked like, right? So I'm like over here trying to imagine, I'm like, how did she look like? How did she look like, right? She was walking and she gets in the car, and in my head, I'm like, who the heck is this? And then that's when she had, like, started talking, I'm like, oh, okay, it's her, okay. It's been what, 2 years? It's a 2-year gap.
I mean, you make it seem like it's been like a long time. 2 years, 2 years.
Do you realize that I have bad memory when it comes to people? Yeah. I really do. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, we go out to Buffalo, right? And we start talking. We have like a beer or two, you know, and we start catching up. We start talking, right? And for some reason, I don't know if it was the alcohol in me. Even I didn't have a lot. I think I was in my second beer, right? I don't know if it was the beer or something, but for some reason my brain was telling me to ask her if she would ever go out with a transgender person. Right? So I had asked her and I was asking her questions, right? But at that time, as we were talking, I started getting a weird feeling, right? But I didn't think too much of it, you know. I was just asking her questions, right? Like, oh, like if she would ever go out with a transgender, what do you think about like the LGBTQ, you know, community and stuff, like what she thought about that, right? And then we were just talking and talking, right, to the point where I didn't want the night to end because of like how much fun we were having. But then
Oh,
I
yeah,
ended
you
up
were
dropping
having a
her
good time.
off. I had dropped her off, and even after I dropped her off, I got home. I sent her a message, right? And then from that, I think it was from that moment forward. That's when we kind of talked nonstop, right?
Yeah, we were hanging out more.
We
We were
were
talking out.
we were
Yeah, talking more.
talking more. We were hanging out more, right? And as we were doing all that, that's when I started feeling something that I never thought I was gonna feel. I felt like butterflies were my stomach, right? But at the same time, I was kind of nervous and scared to ask her if she would, like, date me, right? Because I'm transgender. Because I don't know.
I don't discriminate.
So I just kept talking to her, right? And the more I talked to her, the more I started feeling this weird feeling that I never thought I would get in a way for someone. So it was for my birthday. I had invited her to go out with me and my cousin. If you see some of my older videos, she comes out. Nayeli, she did a few videos with me. Because for my birthday, I don't know what year I started, but I would have my cousin take pictures of me going to my grandma's the cemetery to take pictures with my grandma, and then go to like one of the either like I think one year it was Bonelli, and then the year that she went with us, I can't remember the name of the park, right? So I had asked her what she was going to be doing this day at this time, so and so, right? And the good thing is that it was on one of her days off, because I was only able to work around her days off kind of schedule, right? So I'm like, okay, I want to invite her. I want her to meet my cousin. She was the first one you met, huh, Nayeli?
Mm-hmm. I met your aunt first, and then it was Nayeli.
No, besides my aunt.
Oh well, yeah, she was the first one. Yeah.
So my cousin was the first one to actually like meet her. But back then we were still like friends, right? We were still friends. So we were going. She was taking my pictures. I was talking with her. I had my cousin take some pictures with me, and
and by the way, Nayeli is a very good photographer. Like photographer. Sorry, I can't speak obviously. But yeah, she actually takes very good pictures, and
they're really good.
Yeah.
One of these days, like when I'm filming, I'll probably put some of the pictures she's taken of me, or like in general. But there's some pictures that she took that I'm like, it doesn't look like it came from a phone camera.
It looks professional.
Yeah, it looks like an actual digital camera, and So it was that day, and for some reason I had brought it up to my cousin Nayeli beforehand that I kind of started feeling something for her more than a friend, but I was telling her that I don't know if she would go out with me, right? I would think about it too much, right? And my uncle and his girlfriend would also tell me, just ask her out, just but I still didn't like had the guts to say something about it. So I just like let the day go by, right? And then at night we went to a restaurant where they sell seafood, and like it's like seafood Mexican kind of bar, and it was a live band.
Didn't that place close down though?
I don't know.
Because from what I thought, I think it did.
Me, her, my cousin, and two of my aunts.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that restaurant did close.
They took me out because one of my aunts, her name is Dora, but we call her Tia Maru, right? She has friends that play in a band, and they're called Onyx. So they were going to play there that night. So, they took me there that night to celebrate my birthday, right? And she was there. And then we were just having a good time. She was on the phone instead of chit-chatting it up, right?
I was taking pictures, taking videos. Okay.
But, whatever. It was that night, right? And then I had my aunt went to they left to their house. I had to drop her off, and then I had to drop my cousin off, right? And on the way over there, my cousin just like was telling me, "Why don't you ask her out? Just ask her out, right?" And I'm like, "Okay." And I started thinking about it, and then I got home after I dropped my cousin off, and I was talking to my uncle and his girlfriend, and I was telling them how I started feeling for her, right? And then they kept telling me the same thing, right? So then I'm like, okay, fine. I'll do it, right? I'll finally have the courage to like ask her, right? So I'm like, okay, when can I plan it? Obviously it has to be when she's not at work. What am I gonna do with her? And I'm not gonna lie, I took her back out to Buffalo.
His favorite restaurant.
Right? So that night, I took her out while my cousin was preparing a surprise for her in the room I was staying in, right? And I'm not gonna lie, the way I planned it was like, I don't think it was gonna like, I don't know, but my cousin helped me out, right? So I got all the stuff. She helped me. My Theo's girlfriend, Christina, helped me get a few of the stuff. And as I was out with her, I took her out to, what, like three different places?
It was 3 different places.
3 different places, right?
Yeah.
So while I was out with her, she was getting the room ready, right? And yeah, eventually, I will show you guys pictures of that night. And yes, a lot of people came out and said it looked like you proposed to her. But I'm like...
Well, I mean, it was romantic. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, it did look like... Yeah, I was like, it was a proposal?
It's because my vision was not good, I guess. So I went with my cousin's vision. And it came out amazing, right? When she had sent me a picture... I think when she sent me a picture of how it was looking so far, we were eating. We were about to eat, right? So I had taken her to the Bonelli Park, and we were just sitting there. We were looking at the lake and the sunset view, right?
Beautiful view.
And we were talking, right? And then after we went to go eat, was it Applebee's or was it Buffalo?
Applebee's.
I think it was Applebee's. We went to eat. We were like chit chatting, having a good time, and then I took her out for dessert at Yogurtland.
Oh yeah, we went to Yogurt.
Yeah, Yogurtland.
I
Right?
kind of miss it.
I did too. So while we were there, I had texted my cousin to see that everything was like in order. I guess I don't know. So she had texted me and she was telling me that they were done already. I'm like, oh, they were done before we had finished our dinner. I'm like, I didn't think it was going to be that quick. I thought she was going to, So she sent me a picture of a bit of how the room looked like. Well, at least how the bed looked like. But I couldn't show her, right? So when she had texted me, she was done. And she showed me that the gifts that I had gotten her were placed where I wanted them to be. That's when I started taking her to the house, right? So we got to the house. She stayed out, right? She stayed outside because my cousin was gonna blindfold her. That was that was like a last minute thing.
And they put in the background. They put what was this? Ed Sheeran, his song.
I think so.
I forgot what song it was.
So I went in first to see how the room ended up at the end because since they didn't show me the whole thing. I didn't know how I looked either, right? So I go in here, and in my head, I'm like, Jesus, it does look like a proposal. Yeah, but keep in mind, if I ever get married, like if I'm ever going to propose to someone, it's going to be double of what I did for her when I asked her to be my girlfriend.
Yeah, it better be because I'm still waiting for that. That ring.
I'm still waiting for my PS5.
I'm still waiting for that ring. Once you get the PS5, then we'll get that ring.
We'll get the PS5 and then you can get the ring.
Keep waiting. Keep waiting.
Or you can keep waiting for the ring too.
Okay.
So we went in, and then she told me where to stand. and I almost cried, but I don't know why, right? So then
You almost cried. Are you sure?
yeah,
you
I
didn't
almost
cry, did you?
cried. I almost did.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Right?
Almost, yeah.
And next thing I know, all I hear her saying, "Oh my," and then she didn't want to walk in, right? I heard my cousin, "You can walk in." You're not. It's like
well, I was blindfolded. So I was like,
no, you had taken it off.
Oh yeah, after Duh.
Right? It's like if she was scared that I was gonna do something to her, right?
So I'm like, oh
So
my
she
God,
walked
even
in
emerged.
slowly, right? And what got to me was the way she reacted, because not going into too much detail, she had a rough time when it comes to dating, you know.
Relationship wise, dating. Yeah.
But anyways, that's not important. So then
Excuse me, sorry.
that's when I had told, like, she looked at everything and she read the bed. On the bed, it had said, was it in Spanish or in English? It was in Spanish,
it was
right?
in Spanish, yeah.
So it had said, "Quieres ser mi novia," which means you want to be my girlfriend, right? And at first, I'm like,
I was gonna be mean.
I was
say
so
no.
nervous. I'm like, please don't say no. Please don't say no.
Exactly. But I wanted to do it just to see his reaction. But then I'm like, I don't want to be that mean. So I'm like, okay.
Okay.
And I just said yes, right?
Yeah, she said yes, and then like afterwards, we had like a little moment together, right? And then like everything, we ended up cleaning the mess. I ended up taking her home, and yeah, that's how we've been together 2 years.
Almost 3.
Almost 3 in October.
Con este gordito, sometimes I
When-
feel like, choking
This
him.
is what kind of gets me upset, but at the same time, I know she doesn't do it on purpose. But who knows, right? Because every time I watch, when is our anniversary? See?
Nah, I do
See?
not. It's September.
I literally just said.
I know it was.
No, I literally just said we turned 3 years in October.
No, wasn't it September?
No, it was.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. It's October.
See? So that's why sometimes I feel like, does she really love me the way she says she does? She don't know. I'm gonna
Can
keep.
I see it all the time when you're
I'm gonna
because that's your
keep-
pin on your phone?
I'm gonna keep letting her guess. Okay? But anyways.
But anyways, te quiero.
Anyway.
Even though sometimes I just wanna.
Yeah, that's how we met. That's how it went to be about when I had asked her out. And at first, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not going into too much detail. The first year it was rough.
Yep, very rough.
Year and a half.
It's just like every relation, but yeah,
every relation. But like everyone else, like, we're not perfect. No one is. We will talk about it. We'll be fine. And we're just like do things for each other. And until even now, there's times where we still get into little arguments here and there.
Because I've been told, and also I've told people, like, the main key in the relationship, and that's all you know, is communication. If you don't have that communication, you're gonna have
You're always gonna
things.
bump
You're gonna be you're always gonna bump heads. So
yeah, that's how we met. It was crazy. It was like, I felt like it's like a roller coaster.
And then after that, it's all history. Yeah.
Well, we'll see how long this lasts.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. Please like and subscribe. I do plan, and I will keep saying it in every video that I keep uploading. I do plan on doing giveaways soon. Obviously, it's not gonna be anything big or
anything drastic.
It's gonna be. I'm gonna start off small, and as I go, when I do giveaways, the gifts will get bigger and bigger, right? Be more extravagant, right? But any person that subscribes from here on to when I decide, I feel like we have enough to put everyone in a raffle, and pick a few winners. I'll be giving away a few gift cards. So if you want to be entered in that raffle, all you got to do is subscribe, like, and comment. And every video I'll be mentioning it, but I would also be giving instructions of how it's gonna be about.
Please, for your support, please like and subscribe. We're just like any other people. We're normal. Well, we tend to be.
But if you haven't seen the video I had posted 2 weeks ago, go see that. My sister comes out. My sister will be coming out in other videos. She'll be coming out in the next one. I didn't upload last week because I went to with my brother and my sister, the three oldest, because we're 5. So the 3 oldest, we went to surprise my dad for Father's Day. So I hope you guys had a good Father's Day. We went to go surprise my dad, so I couldn't upload last week until now. But my goal is to upload every Friday, if possible. Hopefully I can. And as the time goes, hopefully, if you guys want to be entered in the raffles, just all you got to do is subscribe and like and comment. And then I'll be uploading how it's going to be about and when is the final cut for people to enter, and we'll go from there. So I hope you enjoy the video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.